Hello everyone, I'm Alan, also known as McLaren 2009, and today I'm going to be talking about two things. First, I'm going to talk about the origin of my current gamertag, and then I'm going to talk about what types of video games I enjoy playing. So, to start off, my current gamertag of McLaren 2009 actually is not the first one that I had. Originally, when I had my first Xbox, and I first got an Xbox Live account, my original account was McLaren 2005. Now, the origin of just the name McLaren came from back when I had the PlayStation 2. I had this game called Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2, and my favorite vehicle in that game was undoubtedly the McLaren F1. It's actually arguably still one of my favorite vehicles, even though I'm not much of a car person, to be completely honest. Now, the reason that I called myself McLaren 2005, it was supposed to be the year that I created the account, but that was actually a mistake, because I did not create it in 2005. I created it instead in 2006. And you can't even say it's because it was like a new year, because it was like June or something. So, from that point on, I was McLaren 2005, even though the year was a typo, more or less. Now, a few years down the road, when I got my Xbox 360, and you could have multiple accounts or multiple profiles, I had a secondary account that was offline only. And that one was properly labeled as McLaren 2009. But I never used that account because, well, back at that point, it became a really big thing to focus on your gamer score and achievements. So, naturally, I chose to keep using the one that I actually played games on, and had all the gamer score, to be completely honest. Then, when I traded in my PS2 and I got my PS3, that one, when I first got my PSN account, that one has been and always will be McLaren 2009, because that one was correct. That was the chosen tag that I've been using, and the year that I graduated high school. It seemed pretty reasonable to me. That was also used for my Steam profile, and what later became my YouTube profile. When I finally got rid of my Xbox 360, and a few years later I got my Xbox One, I did not resurrect the 2005 account. Instead, I resurrected my 2009 gamertag, and that is the one that I've been using to this day. Now, as to my second topic of what types of games that I like to play. Originally, I've played mostly shooting games, things like Call of Duty, Battlefield, Halo. In fact, Halo was actually the first game I ever got when I got my original Xbox. In fact, that was the whole reason I wanted it in the first place. I've also played a lot of simulation games, like, for instance, the Microsoft Flight Simulator. Got maybe a couple hundred hours into it, nothing too fancy. I've also played racing games like Need for Speed. I just got into Forza last year. And a couple of other things. I like to think I've played an absurd collection of tycoon games back years ago. Like, I had the Railroad Tycoon, Roller Coaster Tycoon before they started getting weird. Airport, Cruise Liner, The one I never played was Prison Tycoon. Never got into it. I also play a lot of creative and/or building type games. Like, for instance, I've played a pretty good amount of Minecraft. I've played a couple of games that look like Minecraft, and then I have a few more slightly harder things that have a little bit more in-depth building. Some are a little more modern, some not so much. Basically, I really like those types of games. They just allow you to just kind of go crazy, build whatever pops into your head. Now, I also enjoy things like stealth games. I will admit there aren't, or at least there doesn't seem to be as many of them anymore. Like, for example, take Splinter Cell, Hitman, or, as I remember it from way back, the original SOCOM U.S. Navy SEALs. One of the first actually PS2 games I ever owned. Mostly that's about it. I've also played a couple of strategy games. Civilization, a couple of Army Men type games. Really, I generally play a lot of things. Haven't really done too much with platforming. I've got a couple of RPGs, like for instance, I really like the Elder Scrolls series. I never really got into Fallout until recently. I still wouldn't properly say I'm into it, per se. I've played Assassin's Creed, played games like that. Really, just a little bit of everything, to be completely honest. But I will break down my experiences with a couple of those series in following videos. But I'll work on those a little bit later into the future. But for now, thank you and have a good evening.